Fiercely intelligent and devious to a fault, Drukhari revel in pain, feeding upon the suffering and anguish of others. In them, the boundless and brilliant potential of their kind is given terrible purpose, and because their lives span Terran millennia, they have all the time they need to perfect their Stygian arts. These black-hearted pirates are the dark mirror of their craft world kin, for whom they know nothing but contempt. Indeed, the Drukhari see themselves as the true inheritors of the ancient Eldari Empire, and look down upon everyone else as cowards or dim-witted prey. Meanwhile, to the Asuriani Eldari of the craft worlds, the Comorites are a reviled reminder of a shameful past they would rather escape. The walkers of what they know as the path of damnation. This state of mutual antipathy is near constant, set aside only occasionally in the face of a sufficiently deadly mutual foe. The warriors of the Drukhari are tall and lithe without exception. Their alabaster skin is corpse-like in its pallor, for there is no true sunlight within their shadowy realm. They prize martial prowess above all other fields of achievement, excepting perhaps duplicity. Their athletic physiques are lined with whipcord muscle, honed and enhanced until they are superior even to those of their craft world cousins. They stride through the fires of battle with the surety and poise of demigods, but their magnificence is only skin deep. Viewed with the witch sight of a psyker, Drukhari are repugnant monsters. The flesh of their soul selves is gnarled and cadaverous, while their eyes glow with an icy and maleficent hatred for all living things. They quickly learn to fight with every weapon at their disposal, and to kill without mercy or hesitation. To do any less would lead them to a swift death, for amongst the entire Drukhari people there is not a single shred of compassion or mercy. Such traits are worthless upon the night-black streets of Komara, and are best discarded in favor of a surfeit of cruelty, arrogance, and merciless ambition. Little distinction is drawn between the sexes, for an individual's skill and intellect are far more important than traits such as raw strength or gender. Drukhari's senses are keen, to the point of paranoia, their shadowed eyes and tapered ears alert to the slightest disturbance. It is said they can see in complete darkness, that they can taste fear upon the air, and that they can hear the beat of a terrified heart through a solid bulkhead door. All of them exhibit a predatory instinct that is otherworldly in its intensity and utterly necessary to their continued survival. In the dark city, the incautious soon fall prey to their lethal peers. Countless generations of physical conflict have ensured that the Drukhari are natural, even instinctive warriors. This natural talent magnified by their cruelty. However, the innate psychic abilities of their forebears have atrophied. To channel the energies of chaos within Commorragh would be to invite disaster, for such psychic pyrotechnics could draw the gaze of She Who Thirsts, the nemesis of the entire Eldari race. As such, the use of psychic powers is one of the few things forbidden within the Dark City. This is not to say, of course, that it has never been attempted. Rather, the punishments for those caught dabbling with the powers of the warp are so incredibly gruesome and drawn out that few indeed dare take the risk. Fewer still survive to make a second attempt. In matters of war, the Drukhari are artisans supreme, their technology refined to such a point that it may as well be magical. Their endless imagination and skill has led them down a sinister path. Their favorite tools of war include splinter weapons that can set every nerve aflame with pain, beams of dark light, whips that bleed acidic ichor, and eldritch soul traps. They are so focused on the agony of others that their lightweight bodysuits incorporate bladed plates not only for protection, but also to give them yet another weapon to use upon their prey. Collectively, the warriors of Commorragh know all the ways there are to kill the other denizens of the galaxy, and delight in perfecting as many as they can. Though they turned their backs upon the material dimension long ago, when they emerge from their twilight realm, they revel in their ability to outclass their enemies. They rarely sully their tongues with the grunting languages of the lesser races, using translator technology on the occasions that communication is unavoidable. The warrior cabals strike swiftly and without warning from portals open within the labyrinth dimension of the webway, only to disappear like ghosts when enemy resistance becomes too severe. Their piratical raids attack from above, whole armies screaming into the midst of the foe aboard a baroque grav craft before leaping down to experience the slaughter firsthand. Sprays of arterial blood and explosively dismembered corpses mark their passage, the laughter of these merciless warriors the last thing their victims will hear. To the Drukhari, the sweet fruit of horror is as pleasing as the caress of a razored blade across soft flesh. They relish breaking the bodies of their captives, but prize even more highly the crushing of their spirit, for nothing is more gratifying to them than securing utter dominion over one who has resisted them. They drink in every nuance of woe until their captives gibber and plead for death, a mercy the Drukhari are famously slow to grant. Even this is not a release for some, for the foul Drukhari homunculi hold the power of life and death in their claws. Many captives, when too broken to provide further sport, will be rent and reshaped into undying trophies or even grotesque items of jewelry or furniture. More than one homunculi's lair has sported a moaning, twitching throne fashioned from the remains of his favorite victims. Other unfortunates are rendered down, their final fate to be imbibed as an elixir or narcotic by the monstrous beings who stole their lives. Over time, the Drukhari begin to suffer more and more from the thirst. They develop an all-consuming and ever-increasing need to drink the psychic emanations of anguish and horror emitted by the souls of other beings. It is postulated that the cause of this is the Chaos God Slaanesh, the great enemy of the Eldari, who leeches the soul essence of the Drukhari while they still live because of their pursuit of the hedonistic and sadistic activities that strengthen the power of the Dark Prince. They drink the dark emotions released by the souls of other sentient beings to stave off this leeching, perhaps by sating the thirst of Slaanesh, or perhaps by replenishing the essence of their own souls with that of the consumed one. Slaanesh will also consume the souls of the Drukhari whole, should they die. They are long-lived, but not immortal. Drinking souls has a rejuvenating effect that reverses aging. Thus, they need not fear falling into the clutches of Slaanesh due to death from old age, if they have a constant supply of souls. The usual source of these souls are those of the many captives taken as slaves during raids. The Trueborns and Halfborns. Naturally born Drukhari are rare due to the long gestation period of the Eldari infant. The ones that are naturally birthed from their mother's wombs, known as Trueborns, are often very privileged in Drukhari society because of the circumstances of their birth, and many are the descendants of their ancient noble families. As such, they are arrogant and see themselves as far better than the majority, who are born in amniotic gestation tubes and whom the Trueborn call the Halfborn. Due to the constant and high death among Drukhari as a result of their vicious and amoral culture, creating new ones using in vitro fertilization is necessary to maintain Comora's large population. Most half-born serve as slaves and manual laborers, unless they can find another way to climb the Dark City's strict societal hierarchy. Due to this prejudice, the Trueborn often gather only in squads of other Trueborn within the Drukhari cabals, and serve as the elite Kabbalite warriors that escort their archons into battle and serve as his most elite unit of warriors. Trueborns usually sport many more advanced weapons than their fellow warriors, such as the Shard Carbine, a Drukhari weapon design that hybridizes the Splinter Rifle and the Splinter Cannon and possesses a shorter range than either. They also often make use of Dark Lancers and Splinter Cannons, as well as blasters and shredders. The Trueborn Kabbalite warriors are an elite group that excludes any half-born Drukhari birthed in an amniotic tube from their company. Led by an officer called a Drakon, these hardened killers carry a wide assortment of expensive and deadly weapons wherever they go, supposedly to better protect the life of their Archon, but in truth only to better inflict more pain and death. Trueborn delight in dramatic displays of firepower, sending powerful fusillades into the enemy's ranks and leaving bodies and the broken carcasses of armored vehicles in their wake. The Dark Muses. As far as the Drukhari are concerned, the Eldari gods died in the fall, and they despised them for it. That the gods had become so weak that they could be consumed by the ascendancy of Slanesh indicates that they never deserved to exist in the first place. The exceptions are Kaela Mensha Kane, the Eldari god of war, who is still held in high regard in Commorach, and the lesser powers known as the Dark Muses, who are the embodiments of selfish vice, and whose clandestine worship by the pleasure cults contributed to the demise of the Eldari gods. The Dark Muses are truly powerful Drukhari from ages past, who have essentially become folkloric figures of reverence, much like the imperial cult's saints. Many epitomize a particular form of vice, whose worship and practice weaken the Eldari gods, and so help to bring about the fall. Favored by assassins and murderers is the Dark Muse Shaimesh, the Lord of Poisons, the treacherous brother of Saim Han, the Cosmic Serpent. The courtesan elite of the cult of Lahmaea pay homage to Lihilitu, the consort of the Void, whereas powerful archons are more likely to follow the tenets of Vileth, a being synonymous with the immense arrogance so often displayed by their kind. Before they enter combat, many traditionalist witch cults invoke the Red Crone Hecate, or make sacrifices to Quale, Mistress of Blades. It is believed by many that their current supreme overlord, Asdrubal Vecht of the Cabal of the Black Heart, may one day join the ranks of the Dark Muses, though, given his ability to cheat death again and again, this may be an honor long in the coming.